Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Fallen Stories, and today we're going to look at the subreddit r/entitled parents. Entitled parent demanded the coach to lower expectations for a child. I coach a youth soccer team. One parent consistently arrives late, let her child skip drills, and ignores instructions during practice. Last week, she confronted me in front of the team, insisting that her child shouldn't have to run as much because he gets tired faster than other kids. I explained that all the kids are expected to participate in the same drills for safety and skill building. She became upset, claiming it was unfair and I was singling her child out. Even when I suggested extra support on modified drills only after practice, she refused, saying everyone else needed to accommodate her child immediately. The child barely participated while a parent loudly complained the entire session. It was exhausting and demoralizing seeing someone so disconnected from helping their own child while expecting everyone else to adapt. Tell her she is crippling her child by not preparing him for the world. Am I crazy for not wanting my parents having access to my bank info? I, 18 female, have been working for a year and a half and I'm living with my parents. Yesterday, my dad came into my room and asked to see my pay statement, so he could see my gross income for taxes. I didn't think anything of it, so I showed him. I guess he snooped around and saw what my net pay was. He asked how much money I had in my account, and I told him the truth. And of course, it was less than what my net pay was. He asked why I didn't match up, and I told him about all the things I bought over the year. This is where the problem started. Even after I told him the truth, he wanted to see my transactions. I told him no, because I think it's total invasion of privacy, and it's weird for him to check my bank account. He got angry and said that since I live under his roof, I get no privacy. We got in an argument. He thinks that he should have total access to my bank because he thinks I'm doing something wrong with my money. I think that he should trust what I'm saying. My dad got my mom involved, and now they are both arguing with me. My dad now wants my password to my bank account, and I think that's totally unfair. I should be allowed to have some independence. Keep in mind, I don't have access to my card. Every time I want to spend my money, I have to ask permission, and then my parents will allow me to use my card. So they literally know what I do with my money. I've never once complained about this ridiculous rule out of respect for them. So I don't understand why they don't have respect for me. I feel overwhelmed. I know I have nothing to hide, so the problem will be solved if I just show them transactions. But it's the principle of it. I want them to trust me, I want them to give me privacy and independence on what I do and don't do with my money. I want a second opinion. Am I in the wrong? You are 18. You are an adult. It's your bank account. They shouldn't have no access to it. Get a new bank account and transfer all your money to it and make sure they have no access to it. Also, do your own taxes. And lock your credit if that's a thing in your country. New bank account at a separate bank. There have been instances where parents still manage to get access when the account is in a bank they all use. My parents hate when I protect my belongings from my 2-year-old brother. I am a Lego fan. I own a few sets and own custom-made minifigures, but the main issue is that I must hide them from my little brother as much as possible. He constantly tries to take it without my permission, and I tend to travel away for a while, which means I have to hide it in my one-story house, and even then he still finds them. It's so annoying to have to deal with my pieces going missing and even entire figures. I've lost 5 expensive custom-made figures because I was gone for 5 months, and I made sure to tell my mom, who was the only one at our house at the time, to not let him touch them, and I still got them lost. I make sure to not let them lay a hand on my much bigger sets because I know he will destroy them with ease. And very recently, my father, who keeps assuring me that he's watching my brother, blames me for getting mad that my brother broke my 1-month-old set. It was brand new, and if I had lost 3 or more irreplaceable pieces, I would be livid. And still, my parents pushed me that I should let me share with my brother. Let me tell you that one of the more expensive toys that he got recently didn't even last the weekend. It was in pieces. And Lego, the textbook definition of fragile and choking hazardous toys, is the very thing my parents want to share with my brother. They call me selfish for not letting him touch them, and they use the excuse that I bought them with their money. Like, hello, I don't see you using them for profit like making videos. Can you please help me out here? Edit. To clarify, I share a one bedroom with my parents and my brother. My Legos are constantly being moved to areas for the house that I stay alone in. However, my brother still finds them. I forgot to mention how insane my parents are when I get mad that my brother is going through my stuff. They berate me, telling me to leave the house if I really want him to not touch my stuff, and call me entitled and selfish when I tell them off for demanding that I let him borrow. I generally think they don't care about my interests or my privacy. It's been a living nightmare with how they think they can just demand that I left them to share what is to me more than just a toy. Can you put a lock on your room? Alternatively, I suggest taking the sets apart, putting them back in their boxes with instructions, and putting them in a lockbox to keep safe until such time as you can move out and build them again somewhere. They'll be safe from toddlers and older children. I used to have a similar problem living at a home with the younger siblings, and my parents eventually got a bolt for the outside of my bedroom door, which was useless because my oldest younger brother could still open it if he stood on a chair. And I still got no privacy because I couldn't lock my door, but my parents didn't see any reason for me to have any privacy or protection either. My siblings went through storage boxes that were in the shed while I was away at college. They gave away or sold my books for $1 or $2 to buy candy at school. I had over 100 vintage RG Beatles, Bailey, Mad, etc. books, and they were all gone. Even my R.L. Stein, Fear Street, other non-Goosebumps, and Christopher Pike books were gone. Parents thought I overreacted, but I'm still salty after all these years. I would suggest getting a monthly storage box. Plenty of services mail a box to your home and arrange pickup, ship back. I would also suggest printing off some articles or showing box warnings that Legos are choking hazard for children 3 and under. It's not selfish to protect your items, and it is irresponsible for your parents to give the kid your things when they aren't for his age group. They do make Legos for toddlers, right? He can sweetly play in a couple years. Finally, point out that giving the kid access to your collectibles is literally like flushing money. Maybe your parents don't understand this. Good luck! My mom throws temper tantrums when I don't like something she likes. My mother generally cannot distinguish her own interests and personality from mine to the point where she stomps her feet, whines, and throws a tantrum whenever I dislike something she likes. It doesn't take away from her being able to like it, but somehow she takes it so personally that she whines in a baby voice like, "No, but it's nice," and gets upset and tries to convince me to like it. For example, a few years ago when I moved into college, she got me a bunch of decorations that she would like. I like pink orchids, flowery candles, and perfumes, and other pink sparkly things. I hate orchids and don't like pink or flowers in general, and I have no interest in any of those things she got. I said, "I don't like orchids," and she got upset, so I took the receipt and returned it to the store when she left. When she visited me for parents' weekend, she yelled, cried, and threw a fit because she saw the stuff wasn't there anymore. I have since graduated and moved to another city, and she still does this. When I visit home for Thanksgiving, she got me a super sparkly decorations that said something like "Mommy's baby girl" with a bunch of hearts. She shoved it in my suitcase for when I went back to the city. I forgot about it, and when she FaceTimed me a few weeks ago, She saw my desk in the background and got upset because I wasn't on the desk. She also keeps saying, "You need to get plans for your apartment. It's so empty." And saying which plans she would want to get and where she would put them as if it were her apartment. And each time I say no, I don't like plants, she gets upset, saying, "You're so boring. Huh, you're just like your dad." In her mind, we are the same, so whatever she likes, I must like by extension. She has zero interest in asking or knowing what I like because she only thinks of what she likes and then applies it to me. Every time she gives me a gift, it's always stuff she would want, and then eventually I will just give it back to her and politely tell her to use it because I have too much stuff. She keeps saying things like, "That skincare brand you like, that shirt you want, your favorite shoe company, that lotion you love," and it's all the things she likes or wants. She would get super disappointed and go, "But I like it," if I didn't want to buy something at the store. She never once known a single interest of mine, and I think if I told her, she will just dismiss it because inconceivable to her that I would like something she doesn't. Does anyone else's mother act like this, or am I wrong? She just can't accept the reality that you didn't turn into her mini me, the perfect baby girl that will be just like her. And also beware, if you have kids, this is almost 100% going to carry on to your kids. Try to mold them into her perfect little baby grandkids and not respect your boundaries with them. She has fantasized and envisioned her perfect family in her life and can't stand that those fantasies aren't coming true. Sister-in-law wants to kick off my toddler to feed her baby in my high chair while mine still eats. I keep a small floor seat with a tray at my in-laws, 1.5 hours away, to feed my kids. I bought it for my son, who is now outgrown it, and my daughter is 18 months now, uses it whenever we visit. Now, my sister-in-law uses it to feed her 11-month-old when she visits her mom every week, which is no problem when we aren't there. However, there is a second floor seat with a tray that's in the basement. That's her sister recently bought, but she insisted on using mine. Even when I was visiting, she just takes it to feed her son. Meanwhile, I'm looking for a place to put my crying daughter who's hungry to eat and is older, so can't fit in the other smaller seat. And sister-in-law just completely ignores the fact that she's using my seat for feeding her son, let alone ask her or show any care. But it gets worse. The second time I visited, I'm feeding my daughter and she's still eating, and sister-in-law comes with her son and asks if she's done. I said no, she still has to eat rice. And sister-in-law asks, does she need to eat rice right now? And I said yes. She's having a meal. There's a second seat in the basement, so you can use that one. And sister-in-law just gets annoyed and entitled and says, "I'll just feed him in my arms, okay?" Why does she feel so entitled to use my seat, to the point where she wants to kick off my daughter mid-meal so her son can use that seat, while there's a perfect fine seat in the basement for her to use that fits her son? How do I approach the situation each time I visit? I love her son and I'm happy to share the seat, but her entitlement is so off-putting, where she only cares about her son's meal and not my kids. I feel petty having to remind her that it's my seat I keep for my kids. She should use the other one available that doesn't fit them, or at least ask. We are both expecting more children, so it seems like someone needs to cash out some to get another seat or two. Take it with you when you leave and bring it back every time you visit. She should get a message. This. Keep it in your trunk until you need it for your daughter. Or take a piece of it home to your room, like the tray. It has to come off to be cleaned, or just keep it with you in your room and bring it out to feed, returning after. Bring up hers from the basement for her to use with her kid. And when you're done visiting, put the tray in your trunk for next visit. It's the perfect time to take it. Holiday season is busy and you have a few gatherings you need it for. Plus, you want to give it a good clean. Leave it in your trunk. That's perfect. She doesn't even need to come off as nasty, since she likes the family and is obviously worried about friction. But I'm curious why hubby hasn't said anything to his sister. Alright, guys, that was it for today. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.